respected K.M. Jodhachan, Reggie Matthew Achan, Vijay Philip Achan, Nainan Jodhachan, respected Achans in the floor, dear friends. I am a rather ordinary person with no background in theology, so what I say, my language is quite different from what you have been hearing so far. I have two personal memories regarding Paulos Gregorios to share. First goes back to 1978 when my wife and I went to Germany for higher studies, for our doctoral studies. We were staying in a rented house on the Chungam Seminary road. So on the eve of our departure, Tirumeni sent Tirumeni's secretary, a Shamashan, to our rented home and said, Tirumeni wants to meet us soon after Sandhya Namaskaram, so please be present here. So we came. We were naturally a bit afraid. Tirumeni caught hold of our hands, both of us, and said, Joseph, Annie, you're leaving tomorrow to Germany. If there is anything which the Germans respect, that is your scholarship. Nothing else matters. God bless you. That was all. And we kept it like a fire in our hearts. That scholarship, your knowledge matters, your scholarship matters, nothing else matters. And the 4 years there with both husband and wives doing doctoral studies in the German university system with 2 children, one is 2 years old and the other is 1 year old. It was very, very hard, but this fire kept us going. I always gratefully remember what Tirumeni said, and God gave us also very good results for that. If you are aware of the German university system, grading theses and so on, theses are also graded, and the highest grade one can get is what you call a summa cum laude, with the highest amount of praise, highest amount of honor. During those days in science faculties, something like 1 in 5 to 10,000 theses were awarded, 1 in 5,000 theses were awarded a summa cum laude, and I got it. And one of my first lectures was to Gregorios Tirumeni, and Tirumeni was so pleased about it, just like a father would be happy about his son. So we are always grateful to Gregorios Tirumeni for what Tirumeni did to us in various ways. K.M. Jodhachan and many of the speakers today spoke about the 1979 World Conference on Faith, Science and Future in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, USA. Achan was a deacon at that time. I was a student at that time in Germany. We both were there. In a way that opened our eyes also, my eyes in a way, because studying in a German university, somehow you were trained to see that science is very important, but then Tirumeni gave us an opportunity to see that there are more important things than science as well. I want to share with you 2 or 3 small thoughts and read a very small portion from one of Tirumeni's books. When you speak about nature, when you work for nature, preservation of nature, you give an expression that you're doing something great for nature. Then Tirumeni always said, look, nature is not a reality which is external to you. You are part of nature. That's the message which we always got from Tirumeni. Not only me, our children also got this message from Tirumeni. In Tirumeni's own words, as long as you breathe the air, can I speak? Yes. In Tirumeni's own words, as long as you breathe this air, as long as you drink the water from the nature, and as long as you go back to the dust, you are part of nature. So Triveni made it very clear that nature is not a reality, it is external to you, but you are part of nature, and therefore it is responsibility, your responsibility to take care of nature and care for nature. Regarding Triveni's interest in science, spoke about it very well. Triveni's interest in physics is known to all people, but Triveni was equally interested in genetics. I was a student of genetics all my life, and when I turn back now and look back, I always feel that I learned the intricacies of genetics, the nuances of genetics, more from Triveni, from anybody else. I'm not sure whether you have seen some of the World Council of books, WCC books in your library. There's a landmark book known as Genetics and the Quality of Life that was published mid-1970s, 75, 76, edited by Paul Albrecht, who was the director of the Church and Society Division of the World Council of Churches, but Triveni was the man behind it. And after this book came into being, there was a series of consultations on genetics, genetic engineering, genetic modification of crops. I just spoke about genetically modified crops, seeds and so on. So this was also very much in Triveni's mind. And later on came genetic engineering, and then DNA modification, DNA magnification. And then, 3 years ago, there was big news in the world. It was about human genome editing. So these are all expressions which Triveni used even in 1996, before Triveni left this world. I remember all those things. So I always thank God that I got more insights from Triveni on the great area of genetics, which I have dealt with all my life. In dealing with genetics, Triveni had a favorite question always. Triveni asked, what makes man what he is? Is it your genes, or is it the environment? And naturally this was a topic of discussion in dozens of meetings which Triveni had. മനുഷ്യനാകുന്നത് എന്താണ്? മനുഷ്യന്റെ ജീനുകളാണോ അതോ സാഹചര്യമാണോ? Both are, as you know, both are important, but there are things to be debated on this for days together. So this is also a thing which Triveni made me think. It is not only your genes that are important, but also the way in which you are brought up, which means your church, your worship, your Sunday school, your MGOCism, your youth movement, all these are agencies, all these are means which mold the personality of a person, of a child, which goes into it. Friends, I think time is short, I should cut short. Yesterday, in the inaugural address by, not the inaugural address, the presidential address by Isabel Fury, there was a mention about this book, The Human Presence. This was published by the World Council of Churches way back in 1978. This was a book which has been very, very, very close to our hearts. Of all the chapters in this, there is one chapter in the middle towards the end, Mastery and Mystery. That chapter is again very close to my heart. I just want to read a couple of lines from that. This chapter, Mastery and Mystery, is about technology and sacrament. So, your spiritual life and the science technology world which you see. And then it comes to the question of prayer, what prayer really means in this context. And that's what I want to read. A small paragraph. A deeper level of this same reverent, receptive attitude is found in true prayer. Not prayer as another manipulative technique to control reality, but a self-surrender and receptivity, prayer in which repentance and self-emptying are followed by self-dedication and a willingness to be molded anew by the gladdening light. Not prayer as petition or even intercession, not prayer for oneself, not for some other utilitarian purpose, but prayer as described by Richard Krasner. I quote again, Lord, when the sense of thy sweet grace sends up my soul to seek thy face, thy blessed breed such desire, I die in life, I die in love's delicious fire. This chapter, this sentence has always been very, very close to my heart. I conclude with one more small thing. I am sure some of you at least have seen this little book. This is a book written by Gregorios, prayer book for young people. This is a magnificent book. This was basically written for Orthodox people who are born outside Kerala, who are not well versed with the Malayalam, Kauma and also in English, but explaining the Orthodox faith in Kottayam. I once took, in 40 years of my traveling to 50 plus countries, I always had this book in my pocket. A few years ago in Göttingen, while I was in Göttingen University, I spoke about this book to Martin Tamke, Professor of Ecumenical Theology. He immediately said this needs to be translated into German, which we did, and came to and wrote the translation was done by me and my wife, but the book has been translated into German. One last thing, this has a very beautiful introduction. What is prayer? I read it and then I stop. Prayer is like breathing. Without breathing, we cannot live. When we breathe, air enters our lungs, cleanses the blood in our veins by relieving it of the carbon dioxide and supplying it with oxygen. If I do not breathe for a few minutes, I die. Friends, this is what I learned about prayer from Gregorios. Let me thank you all for your patience. Thank you for the time. It was really nice meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph Varghese, and particularly for highlighting that prayer which you wrote from the book which you translated into German. Thank you very much. Regent says that we have some time for 2 questions, maximum 3 questions, brief. If you want to raise questions to Vijay Shachan or to some of the issues raised here, you are most welcome. Malayalamilo, Englishlo parayam, kuഴപ്പമില്ല. നിങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറാക്കുന്ന സമയം എനിക്കറിയാമല്ലോ, സമയം എടുക്കും. പൊതുവെ നമ്മുടെ രീതി അങ്ങനെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല. ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിച്ച കുഴപ്പമില്ല. വിശേഷിച്ച് വളരെ ഭംഗിയായിട്ട് തിരുവനയുടെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ചും സയൻസ് ആൻഡ് ടെക്നോളജി സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള വിഷയത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രസൻറ്റേഷൻ നടത്തി. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും സംശയങ്ങൾ കാണുമായിരിക്കും. ഒരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യം തിരുവേനി എപ്പോഴും പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്, ഈ സയൻസ് ആൻഡ് ടെക്നോളജി ഈസ് എ കൾച്ചറലി കണ്ടീഷൻ തിങ്. അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ പാശ്ചാത്യരുടെ ശാസ്ത്രവും സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യയും ലോകം മുഴുവൻ സ്വീകാര്യമാണെന്നും അത് സത്യമാണെന്നും അത് പ്രൂവബിളാണെന്നും ഓപ്പറേഷനാണെന്നും ഇപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ബട്ട് ഈ ഓപ്പറേഷണൽ ട്രൂത്ത് കൊണ്ട് സത്യം മുഴുവൻ വെളിവാകണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധമില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് തിരുവേനി പറയുന്നത് കൾച്ചറലി കണ്ടീഷൻഡാണ്. കഴിഞ്ഞ 500 വർഷമായിട്ട് യൂറോപ്യൻ ഡോമിനേഷനാണ്, കൾച്ചറൽ ഡോമിനേഷനാണ്. കൊളോണിയൽ പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിലൂടെയും ഇവിടെ സൂചിപ്പിച്ച പല ബൗദ്ധിക പ്രസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിലൂടെയും അവരെ ലോകത്തെ മുഴുവൻ അടക്കി ഭരിച്ചവരാണ്. അത് മാറിക്കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ഒരു പുതിയ പാരഡൈം, ഒരു പുതിയ ശാസ്ത്രവും സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യയും ഉണ്ടാകാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. അപ്പം തന്നെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ സാമൂഹ്യ രംഗം നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം. ഇപ്പോൾ മഹാത്മാഗാന്ധിയെക്കുറിച്ചോ ജവഹർലാൽ നെഹ്റുവിനെ കുറിച്ചോ ഒന്നും ഇന്ത്യയിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ വലിയ വില അതിന് ഇല്ല. പക്ഷേ മഹാത്മാഗാന്ധിയുടെ കാലത്ത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ രാഷ്ട്രീയവും ആധ്യാത്മികവുമായ ദർശനം ഈ ലോകത്തെ മുഴുവൻ സ്വാധീനിച്ച ഒന്നാണ്. അതിന് വലിയ വിലയില്ല എന്ന ആളുകളൊക്കെ കുറച്ചൊക്കെ പറയാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പാരഡൈം ചേഞ്ചാണ്. ഞാനൊരു ഉദാഹരണം പറഞ്ഞത് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. അത് ഞാനതിനെ അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നതുകൊണ്ടല്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്, ദയവായിട്ടാരും എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കരുത്. ബട്ട് ഈ പാരഡൈം ഈസ് ചേഞ്ചിങ്. അതുപോലെ സയൻസ് ആൻഡ് ടെക്നോളജി കൾച്ചറലി കണ്ടീഷൻഡാണ്. പുതിയ ഒരു സാംസ്കാരിക സംവിധാനം ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോൾ there may be a new way of producing science and technology. അത് ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് പൂർണ്ണമായിട്ട് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ. ഒരു 11 ഞാൻ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചെന്ന് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Inviting Reverend Dr. Father Nainan K. George, the Registrar of the Orthodox Theological Seminary, to render the vote of thanks for the session.
As I am called upon to extend the vote of thanks, I hope you all know that this session is reaching to its concluding part. This moment for me a great privilege to extend vote of thanks to the eminent personalities who have come over here to bless this occasion as we commemorate and highlight and contemplate on the major teachings of writings of Dr. Paulos or Gregorios, a luminous theology and well-known, renowned theologian across the world, not only among the Christians, even non-Christians are also honoring and respecting the luminous thoughts of our beloved Tirumeni. See, today we are blessed to have great Guru, Dr. K. George in our midst. Achan has blessed us. Whenever we see Achan, we see the lineage of the luminous thoughts of Paulos Mar Gregorios. Paulos Gregorios Tirumeni himself chosen Achan as his successor in the seminary, serving and leading this seminary to a new dimension. Achan's involvement, Achan's contributions, when we look at the history of this seminary, cannot forget. While being a great renowned theologian, Achan is very humble. Humble in the sense, whenever people approach him with different needs, Achan never hesitated to address their needs. The students, especially of Varghese, students are fortunate to experience that quality from our beloved Achan. Achan's highlight in his introductory speech is Paulos Gregorios Tirumeni's thought on enlightenment. നമ്മൾ ഇതുവരെയും എൻലൈറ്റൻമെന്റിനെ പറ്റി മനസ്സിലാക്കിയതിന് എത്രയോ വിപരീതമായിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ദിശയിൽ കൂടിയാണ് പൗലോസ് ഗ്രിഗോറിയോസ് തിരുമേനി അതിനെ വിശകലനം ചെയ്തത്. എനിക്ക് വളരെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയി തോന്നി ആ എൻലൈറ്റൻമെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ വിഷയത്തിൽ സെക്കുലറിസം, how Tirumeni had chosen secularism as its best tool to develop theological understanding on enlightenment. Achan അതുപോലെ തന്നെ Achan has also exhorted us to have the need of the emergence of Christian enlightenment in today's world.
as we also pursue theological training, we need to focus our study on this dimension, Christian enlightenment, and how it helps us to be expressing our solidarity to our nation, how we can be instrumental to the process of nation building. Anchan, thank you so much on behalf of our principal and faculty, students, and this gathering. I extend heartfelt thanks to Reverend Dr. K. George. Bijash Philippachan, we were colleagues in Stotts and we are colleagues today, even in OTS. Achan's research was on the book, the writings of Paulos, Gregorios, and another theology and representing Catholic Church. Achan is the apt person among us to come up with a paper on science and technology, the topic developed by Paulos, Gregorios, Tirumeni. Shastrate madamillada padikkuvan ശ്രമിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തെ അപാകതയും മതത്തെ ശാസ്ത്രത്തിന്റെ പശ്ചാത്തലത്തിൽ വിശകലനം ചെയ്യുവാൻ പഠിക്കുമ്പോഴുണ്ടാകുന്ന അപാകതയെ പറ്റിയും വേദശാസ്ത്ര വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ ഏറെ ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. മതമില്ലാതെ ശാസ്ത്രമില്ല, ശാസ്ത്രത്തിന്റെ പിൻബലമില്ലാതെ മതബോധനത്തിന് നിലനിൽക്കുവാൻ കഴിയുകയും. Even though it was a short notice, Achan was able to prepare a paper, present it in a beautiful manner. Achan, I know that vote of thanks you don't expect, as you are part and parcel of this community. As a matter of statutory for a gathering, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to you. Reggie Matthews, our principal, beloved principal, this kind of seminar is the brainchild of our principal. Achan, in terms of his ability in organizing this kind of programs, Achan is wonderful. And Achan is always ready to decentralize his job, and Achan's initiative praiseworthy. On behalf of this gathering, Achan, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to you. Joseph Varghese, we all know that he is a good neighbor to us, living near to the seminary. I think sir is one of the luckiest person in the church, living alongside the seminary to hear every day the prayers coming up from this community. I think it is a blessing, sir. Sir's association with Paulos, Gregorios, Tirumeni is very interesting. When I was doing my BD degree, I used to see sir coming to this campus to meet Tirumeni. Tirumeni is always, without hesitation, entertaining Joseph Varghese, his sharing, especially the prayer that he had raised from one of the books that Tirumeni authored. Thank you, Joseph Varghese, for your kindness to come and share with us. In this gathering, we have got FFRRC students, MTH students, and DTH students. Thank you, my dear friends, for availing your presence for blessings this occasion. A few students have come from KUTC Seminary in Trivandrum to bless this occasion. Thank you, dear friends, to come over here. OTS students, your initiative, and I know that you have toiled your effort to make this program a grand success. I wish you all success and extend heartfelt thanks to one and all. Few friends have come from different parts of this Kerala. Let's see, dignitaries of different institutions have come over here. Thank you, dear friends. And our beloved, very reverend Matthew Aiden Koropiscopa Achen's presence is noteworthy. Achen is going to be the moderator for the next session. Achen, thank you so much for sparing your time to come. And few Achens have come from different dioceses, which Matthew Achen representing Nararam diocese. Achen with Kottayam came over here to felicitate this occasion. Thank you. Once again, I thank everybody who have come to bless this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Achan. This session is adjourned. Gregorios Foundation has organized